In this video I will go through the graphs of exponential functions with you. So the first thing that you need to know is, like any other function, it always has a standard form. So the standard form for an exponential function is y equals to b to the power x, and b is greater than 0, but it's not equal to 1. Okay, so let's look at a few examples to see how it will work. So if I take, for example, the function y equals to 2 to the power of x, and I'm asking you to either graph it or sketch it. So the difference between a graph and a sketch is just rough. You don't have to do it very much according to scale, but to graph it you have to do it more precise. So let's just quickly look at a sketch actually first, and saying, okay, there's certain things that I know. So for example, I know when x is going to be equal to 0, y will be 1. How do I know this? Because if I have anything to the power 0, that's 1. Okay, so this is one of the first characteristics of an exponential function. If it's just of the standard form, so if it looks like this, y to the anything x, so in this case we had b in the standard form, then I know my y will go through the point 1. So somewhere along the line, if I draw my graph, I need to keep in mind that it will go through the point 1. Okay, so that's one of the first things that I know. Now, if I use a table of values, and I'm just going to slide to do this. If I use a table of values, so for example, if I'm saying x and y, so I'm saying x is -3, so I'm saying what is y? Y is going to be 2 to the -3, and I know that's going to be an eighth. If x is -2, I am going to have a quarter. -1, I'm going to have a half. 0 I've already done, so I know that's 1. Sorry about that. 1 is going to be 2 to the power of 1, which is just 2. 2 is going to be 2 to the power of 2, which is 4. And 3 is going to be 8. So can you see what happens here? Your x values, as it goes negative, your y values tend to go smaller, but it never quite reaches 0. And so that's quite a significant feature of it. So this is called asymptotic. Why is my pen not working now? Okay, so asymptotic, or we talk about a horizontal asymptote. And so in this case, my horizontal asymptote will be the asymptote y equals to 0, because you can see it goes or tends towards 0. Can you see? Can you imagine this was x to the power minus 99? So if you do that on your calculator quickly, you will see it approaches 0, but it never yet reaches 0. So that's why we call this an asymptotic function. Okay, so let's go back and see what I did. So now I know so far it will definitely go through the point 0. It will tend to 0 here, but it will never reach 0. And on this side, if I will see that it very quickly grows. So my function looks like that. It very quickly goes bigger and bigger. So remember, it was 2, 4, and then 8. Then the next one after that will be 16, 32, 40, and so forth, so forth. So this, roughly, is what my graph looks like, this being my x-axis and this one my y-axis. Okay, so let's look at another example. Okay, if my function is the function 5 to the power x, I know 5 to the power 0 is going to be 1, 5 to the 1 is 5, 25, 125. And here I will have a fifth, 1 over 25, and 1 over 125. So just like my previous function, I know it will go through the point 1. It will grow quite quickly, in fact much steeper than the other one. And it will tend to 0, but it will never reach 0. So there's a rough sketch of it. So what I'd like you to do now, I'd like you to go to the investigation in your book. There's an investigation that's titled Investigation 1, Exponential Graphs. And if you work your way through that investigation, you will see specific patterns emerge. Things that you need to look out for is look out for when you add and subtract. What happens if you add it to the exponent, or what happens if you add it just normally to the function at the end. Pay attention to those special things, and then what I will do is I'll post another video that summarizes what has happened there, but I want you to work through that yourself. So I won't post the video straight away to see what happens.